Good morning, good morning, good morning. Oh, my hair's a mess. But it will be more than a mess in a few minutes. But anyway, good morning, Facebook family and friends. This is Saturday morning with Dr. Mama Rosie Thompson, and today is February 15th. Hope that you guys had a really great Valentine's Day. Let me change this. Yeah, hope you all had a very, very great Valentine's Day, and I hope that all is well today. I came on this morning. This one I probably won't be on here that long, but I wanted to come on here. I've been on here now for 1 year on the Saturday mornings with Dr. Mama Rosie Thompson. As many of you know, it started off when I wrote my memoir, A Thornless Rose, Bigger Than Every Obstacle, Stronger Than Every Challenge. When I wrote my memoir, the young man I hired to come out and video it and take pictures, he was saying, you got to tell people about trauma. People, you got to let them know that it's normal. People don't know that trauma is normal. So he kept saying it, and it stuck with me. So originally I tried to do some Zoom meetings, but I didn't get people involved. So I decided to do it this way, and I came on here and I began to share some things, share my life, and to share some things that I've learned. So today, not this day exactly, but this marks 1 year that I've been doing this. I've been on live for 1 year with this segment, and I'm on today to let you know that this is it for this one. Uh, I won't be on Saturday mornings with Saturday morning with Dr. Mama Rosie Thompson. I've said everything that I think I should say. I've covered every topic that I had to cover, and I've also covered topics that I got from other people. So I've done all of that. So it's time to move on from that. I will still be on Friday mornings with the Word, and that may move to Saturday depending because I volunteered. I applied to volunteer at the hospital, so I may be moving that to Saturday morning. All depends on my work schedule. But I just wanted to come on and say this morning that this is my last time coming on Saturday morning with Dr. Mama Rosie Thompson. We started out there, many videos out there for anyone who's interested that, looking to make your life better. If you're looking to be whole and authentic, if you don't like where you are, I'm sure there's a video out there that can help you. We had some great things. We talked about some really great things. We talked about understanding trauma, how trauma can affect us and how it can affect us even years after the traumatic incident happens. We talked about that. We talked about withdrawals, the trauma withdrawals. We talked about understanding that healing is not a one-size-fits-all. So sometimes when we look at other people, we think that their lives are fine, and we don't understand why our lives are not fine too. One size does not fit all. And another thing, you're looking from the outside. We really don't know where people are, because people will say, I'm okay. I remember that time my great grandbaby was here, and she was crying. And somebody asked her, I think her mom said, are you okay? She said, of course, but she was crying. So you never know, because by what people are saying sometimes, if that's really how they feel. And we talked about, we got to believe that the sky is the limit. The sky is actually, and it really is the limit. For you, it is. You can succeed. You can excel. You can be anything you want to be. You can go as high as you want. And one thing we want to do, when we talked about thinking like a beginner, without expectations. When you begin to think like a beginner, your mind is not saying that, okay, I'm going to do this and this is going to happen. My mind is on this. I'm going to do this. Whatever happens, think like a beginner. We talked about setting boundaries, which are very, very, very important. And remember, as you set your boundaries, when you set your boundary, that's your invisible line that you draw for yourself. And you communicate those boundaries. And also remember that boundaries come with reasonable consequences. So, it's not unreasonable for your life to be good. It's not unreasonable to have the life that you desire. It's not unreasonable to say no when you need to say no. So, we talked about boundaries. We talked about that a boundary is not a request. You can ask the person to do something. That's their choice to say yes or no, to do it or not do it. But a boundary has reasonable consequences. We set those, so we manage those ourselves. I'm saying to you that this is what I need for me to be okay. And if you don't give me what I need, then this is what I'm going to do. So we sometimes have requests for people, and we treat it as if it's as if it's a boundary, but it's not the same. And we talked about ultimatums. We don't give people ultimatums. People have the right to do what they want, and to try to take that away is not right. It's not the way it should be. We also talked about diffuse boundaries. Sometimes our boundaries are not clear. We talked about sacrifices and walls. It's okay to love someone and to try to make a sacrifice, to do something that's outside of our boundary. We may do something that we don't really like because we love someone and because we care about them. So we sacrifice. We talked about fragmentation. We have let go of those parts of ourselves to be okay, and now we're calling them back so that we can be whole, so that we can be authentic. We talked about reintroducing our whole and authentic self. Once you bring back those fragments parts, and as you change your life, how do you introduce yourself to people? We talked about that. So those videos are available on YouTube as well. What else we talk about? We talked about living our truth. What's on the inside of me, not what somebody else think I should do, but who I really am. We talked about that. We also talked about post-traumatic growth, the pain of letting go, and we talked about letting go in a friendship, letting go wherever it is, anything that we need to let go in our life. We talked about the pain of that. It's not easy to make changes. It's not easy to let go all the time. We talked about emotional maturity. We enable them versus supporting. We want to support those we love, but we don't want to enable them. We are not responsible for anybody else. Each one of us are responsible for ourselves. So we talked about that as well. And I think I mentioned vicarious trauma, where we talked about sometimes some people can't deal with your trauma. So sometimes you want people to understand and people to take your hand with the things that you're going through, but sometimes people cannot deal with what you're going through. We have to allow people in our lives the way that they can be in our lives. I was talking to a young man, and he was telling me, he said, just let it go. Just let it go. You're thinking too hard. Well, that's me. That's what I do. And another thing too, if you meet someone, I don't know, Valentine's Day just passed, and if you meet someone and you decide that you need to have someone in your life who, I love me, old-fashioned, country. I think that a man should have transportation, his own transportation. I don't want to go on a date with anybody, and I gotta drive them home. Now, they were like, people will easily say, I don't, I know how to get around by myself. I don't need you to drive me home. Okay, but you're not gonna tell me that you are not going to feel like, and you're not going to be saying one day, you got a car, why couldn't you just drop me off? Because now the reason I can't drop you off, well, the reason I won't drop you off, that doesn't work for me. I don't like that, and I don't do things that I don't like. Now, if we go on a date, you need your own transportation because you need to protect me. So I drive you home. Who makes sure I get home safely? No, that's what you do. I'm not that liberated that I don't think that I think I can do everything a man do. I don't want to do everything a man do. I want you to go out there. I don't need you to cook me no breakfast. Go out there and make sure some gas is in my car. You do that. You make sure the garbage is out. I'll cook you some breakfast. So that's just Rosie. And so when you meet people, you got to know what you want. And that way when you meet someone, if they don't bring what you want, you guys want something different, then you need to let them go and find somebody who will bring them what they want, just as you probably need to go and find somebody that will bring you what you want. And you got to be, and one time when you make those type of decisions, one thing about them, you have to be comfortable in yourself. You have to be comfortable enough to say, if I don't meet somebody to give me what I want, then I'm cool by myself. See, if you're not cool by yourself, then you start to doing things that you really don't want in your life because you want that person in your life. But you got to be willing to deal with whatever consequences come up. I'm willing to deal with the consequences of being by myself. I am. And since I'm willing to deal with the consequences of being by myself, then I can say, this is what I want and what I don't want, and this is what I will not have in my life. That's just how it is for me. And it's easy for me because my mind is made up in that area. So we have to be mindful of that. We can't change people. We can't make people be who you want. I think I shared with you a while back in one of the videos when I was married, and I didn't understand why my husband and I having problems. I thought I was doing everything I could. I thought I was being a good wife. And the man told me at church one time, he said, you may be a good wife, but you may not be the good wife. You may be one of the best wives, but you may not be the best wife for him. That's a statement that's really, really profound. It doesn't mean that you're not a good person. It doesn't mean that you wouldn't make a great wife, but you may not be a great wife for her. I mean, for him, he may not be. He may could be the best husband in the world. You know how sometimes you be with someone and you don't get along, and then they go get that other person. It seems like they got this great relationship. That's because they good for them people. They got different goals. They got different morals. They got different standards. We're all so uniquely different. And so we don't get upset because you met somebody who give you what you need. I don't want to be with anybody who doesn't give me what I need, and that type of thing. So be mindful of those things as you think about your life, as you go through life, as you continue to grow. We talked about self-awareness. We're self-aware. We're aware of what we need. We're aware of what matters to us. So we talked about that a lot, and we talked about knowing your self-worth. Once we know who we are, that's really important that we know who we are. And in my case, know whose I am. So if I know that this is who I am, I know that. I know who I am. So I don't have to compromise. I don't have to, I don't have to do a lot of work because I know who I am. Sometimes we go through so much because we're not aware of who we are. And we want to be aware, too, of the things we say. We want to be aware of the things we do. We want to be aware of when we speak. We want to be aware of every action that's in our lives. Because we're aware. We take our time. We're self-aware. I want you to remember today, as I said, this is our last video on Saturday. And I want you to remember that one size does not fit all. I said that a lot at the very beginning. One size does not fit all. What's good for me may not be good for you. The way things work out for me may not work out that way for you. So out of all the videos, as I said, there are 52 videos on YouTube. And they're called Saturday Mornings with Dr. Mama Rosie Thompson. There are 52 videos. You may look at a video and then you find something that works for you. Then you may look at something and find something that just doesn't work for you that way. That's fine. Know that it's okay. We said yesterday, you don't have to do what I do the way that I do for what you do to be right. You do what you have in your heart. We're different. We're not the same. Then we talked about the cycle of transformation. We also talked about how to break these habits, things in our lives. But first got to be aware of them before we can even work toward to breaking them. How do we change things in our lives? We talked about that. Breaking habits, breaking patterns in our lives. Paying attention to those patterns in our lives. Paying attention I noticed that every time I have a conversation, probably not every time, we're good at every time, but it probably happened the last 3 times, we could label it every time. But every time I talk to Mary Jean, I noticed that she has something negative to say about somebody in my family, whatever. You got to pay attention to that kind of stuff. Pay attention. Be aware of what's happening to you, through you, around you. So we want to, that's in there too. So like I said, there were 52 videos out there. 52 videos that I think could be very helpful. We also had Dr. Henderson. She was a counselor, therapist. She came on and she talked to us about the importance of therapy. She talked to us about, you can share with your family members, and a lot of times we're sharing with family members, but when you start to share with your family members and you tell them about this person, how they're not treating you, that your family member probably going to feel the same way. They're going to feel some type of way about that person because they love you and they don't want to feel like you're being mistreated. Now you're wondering later why they act like they don't like them or they don't want to be around them, because you set it up that way. So sometimes the best way is to go to a therapist, go to someone who's not biased, go to someone who is just there with a listening ear, who's trained in that area, and know that therapy is a good thing. It's not a bad thing at all. They will walk you through those changes that you're making. They will be there to support you, and they help with accountability. Another thing about therapists, if you get a therapist and you find that therapist doesn't work for you, you can always change your mind. Don't stay stuck in anywhere because I don't want to hurt their feelings. You can't control anybody's feelings. We talked about that. We are not responsible for other people's feelings. The only thing we can do is what's best for us. Some cause is making it the best decision for you today and going forward. Doesn't matter that you've been my therapist for 10 years. It doesn't matter that, he's been my doctor ever since I was born. You may need a different eye. You may need somebody else who's got a fresh look at things to look at you. I had a doctor that I had for a long, long time, and I was still going there. They wanted to do surgery on me, and I just changed my doctor a little over a year ago when I moved over here and found out I didn't even need surgery. So, that kind of stuff, sometimes you need a fresh look. Don't get so stuck in somewhere until you can't let go and grow in a different way. Let yourself flourish. Allow yourself to grow. Allow yourself to expand. Become everything that you can be. Don't be afraid to make that step, to make that decision. So what? I'm not good at it. So I'm not good at a lot of things. So what? Do it anyway. Fly. You fly. We also had Tanda Morgan on here. She was on with us twice, and she talked about emotional maturity. And she's a manager, a mental health manager at a prison in Texas. But she was with us a couple of times, and she talked about the importance of being emotionally mature. We gotta be. We manage our emotions. Our emotions belong to us, but they are not us. So what? I feel this way, but that's not me. I just feel this way. So we talked about that, and she was really good at sharing, because she was even talking about that she take her time, and just because that person may fly off the handle one time, by her being in the mental health field, I'm sure that she deals with a lot of people that sometimes they just may fly off the handle. So how do you get from them flying off the handle to even want to talk to them again? And she said she look at the whole picture. It's sometimes they may be having a bad day. We got to know that everything is not directed at us. Everything is not a fight against us. Everybody's not our enemy. People not hating on us. Everybody's not jealous of us. Don't allow yourself to start to think that way. Become mature in your emotions. Be mature in the things that you do and say. And then we also had Sister Pat McCraw on here. She talked about prayer decrees and declarations, which was really, really awesome. She talked about how the importance of when we decree and we declare a thing according to the Word of God. According to the Word of God, we can decree a thing, we can declare it, and God will do it. And she talked about that with us. And then we also had the First Lady of Sunrise Baptist Church, and that was a really, really good one. I wish more people had seen that one. And she talked about living securely as God's beloved child, which is so awesome, that we can be secure and know that even though all of this stuff that we see going on around us, that we can live secure in Him. So we had some great people that came on and joined us. We have some great videos. They're all on YouTube. You're more than welcome to go out and see them. They're under Saturday Morning with Dr. Mama Rosie Thompson. I want to say to all of you, hi Cora, hi Mama Dorothy. I want to say to you all that this is my last Saturday. I'll be online. I won't be coming back with Saturday mornings anymore. There are 52 videos on YouTube, but I will be coming back every Friday morning with the Word of God. So the Friday's Word, I'll continue to do that, but I've exhausted what I'm supposed to do. I've done everything that I was supposed to do. That's another thing I want to say. Know when to start something. Know when it's over. When I decided, and I spoke to a couple of friends, and I said, well, I won't be coming on Saturday morning. And they started telling me, well, you could do it this way. You got to know for yourself. I didn't ask them, should I? I just said, I won't be coming on Saturday morning. I'm done with that. Well, you could do it this way. And you know who want to tell you most of the time, no disrespect to my friends, I love you, but the truth is the light. You know who always want to tell you how you can do something differently? Those people who are not doing anything. Why don't you go do something and let me do what I'm doing my way? Those people who you find that's not doing anything can tell you exactly how you should do something. This segment for me is over. Will it come back? I have no idea. I'm open to whatever happens. But I'm done with it today. I want to thank you all, everyone who've ever watched these videos with me. I really appreciate you. They're all on YouTube. If you have anything out there that anything that's in your life, I think we covered I covered everything I was supposed to cover. And I pray that you're happy. I pray that great things happen in your life. I pray that you become whole and authentic. I pray that whatever you're dealing with, that you know that you're fearfully, that you're wonderfully made, that you're more than a conqueror. Just like I started this segment with a thornless rose, we can be thornless. We don't have to prick everyone who touches us. But we are yet bigger than every obstacle that come our way, and we are stronger than every challenge. And we want to know that for ourselves. This is a quote from a Better Up coach that I'm going to leave us with today. Her name is Kelly LaCroix, and she said to be kinder to yourself this time. So sometimes we haven't been. Be kinder to yourself this time. Speak to yourself as though you are your own best friend. Be nice to us. Be nice to you. When you fall down, take a few minutes to comfort yourself before you rush into that next thing. Don't rush into doing anything. Take your time. Treat yourself as though you are someone worthy of love. Treat yourself as though you're someone worthy of kindness. And treat yourself as though you're someone worthy of forgiveness, because you are. So what? I didn't do it right that time. So what? I made a mistake. I told you the famous words of a manager and friend. She used to be my senior manager, and she used to tell us, because we could make a mistake, and we were in banking and treasury, so we were managing, looking at people's money, and it could be big dollars that we made a mistake. And she said one time, before her, people would come in. If you made a mistake, oh my God, they act like the world was ended. But she came and said, the only people who do not make mistakes are the ones who are not doing anything. It's okay if you made a mistake. It's okay if you wish you had raised your kids different. It's okay if you wish you had done something different in your marriage. It's okay if you wish you had said something different at work or in that friendship. It's okay. Take the time. Like Kelly said, when you fall down, take a few minutes. Comfort yourself. Feel what you feel. I feel bad about it. I wish I had done that different. But you can't undo. We can only move forward. I thank you all for all the time that you spent with me. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you, Mama Doris. You know you're a blessing. You have really been a blessing. Will always be a blessing. You and your entire family. I love you guys. Will always love you. I just want to say thank you so much for the time that you spent with me. I will be on Friday. Yesterday's word, God bless a lot, with the genealogy of Jesus Christ. I told you I passed by that. I never thought I'd be talking about it. But that's what he gave us on yesterday. So we will continue in Matthew on Friday. You all have a blessed day, and I really love you, and I thank God for you. Always in my thoughts and prayers. Have a great day, you all. Goodbye.